So, what's going on, everybody? Good evening. Hope everybody's doing well. Today, I have a little bit of a prep update. We're 6 weeks out right now, so we're basically halfway through. I started at 12 weeks out. So, now, had I done this video last week, I would have told you something completely different that I'm going to tell you now. Obviously, 6 weeks out is like kind of the time where things get very serious. So let's start by just first looking at how I'm currently looking and where I started. So I took some check-in pictures this morning that I'm going to throw up here. Obviously the front side is already, I would say, 90% done. I sent this to my coach this morning and he was pretty happy. The front side, like I said, is about 90% done. We're looking good. From the rear, there's still a little bit to go, obviously. Which is not a problem because we still have 6 weeks, but this is kind of where the focus is. So, especially the glutes and hamstring area, something that there will be a few more pounds to lose there. But overall, I'm pretty happy with how fast we've been evolving now. I had a new lowest weigh-in this morning at 110.5. Yeah, it's a new lowest weigh-in, and so far I've lost about 7 to 8 kilos on this prep. So in 6 weeks, 7 or 8 kilos, a little bit more than a kilo a week, which I would say is a pretty good average. And if we look at the pictures on obviously how I was looking before the prep, or when I started the prep basically 12 weeks or 6 weeks ago, you can tell that a lot has happened already. But now, basically the first half of prep is the easier part, right? So you get in shape really quickly. You start seeing striations and veins and everything is starting to separate nicely, especially from the front. And you think, wow, I'm on track, I'm gonna be ready ahead and stuff like that. But then a lot of people get surprised, and I got surprised in my first prep by how hard it is to finish off the last little bit. So like the last few pounds of fat, they are exponentially harder to lose than the first few pounds. So I'm aware of that now it's going to start becoming a little bit tougher, and I'm definitely starting to feel it now. So like I said, last week at this time I was doing great. I had energy, I was in a good mood, everything was great. But like the last 5 days or so, it's starting to get a little bit tougher. Also, like some of you might know, I work a pretty intense job, so I have a little bit of work stress. I gotta travel for work, throws my schedule off sometimes. I gotta bring my meals. Sometimes I have to wake up early to travel and stuff like that. So it piles up the stress, and especially when you're on prep, you notice that right away because your recovery capacities and your sleep quality is just already not great, and then you put some stressor on top like that and it just starts going downhill. So I started noticing this like maybe last Monday or Tuesday, like 5-6 days ago. I started to just get really lethargic throughout the day. I sat on the chair and I was thinking, should I get up now to get some water or take a piss, or should I just wait another 10 minutes and just kind of drag it out, because the energy was just so low. And it's been like that ever since. So like I still feel like this, even though now on the weekend it's a little bit better because I have more time to relax. So that reset helped me a little bit, but I'm really starting to notice the lethargic feeling. And also the mood is a little bit lower. I'm a little bit more quiet, more introverted, I would say. Also in the gym, like I go in the gym and it's tough to start the workout because I feel really low energy, and I don't even want to carry the plates to the machine. When I get into the gym, I don't really want anybody to talk to me because you're just so tunnel visioned, and like you're not in the best mood to talk, to be honest, at least for me. So I noticed that. But as soon as I start the workout and as soon as I do my first set, I just feel how strong I actually am. So I haven't lost any strength since the top of my off season. I already lost more than 10 kilos, like 25 pounds, since the heaviest that I was in the off season. and I'm still progressing. I'm still kind of making PRs in the gym and stuff like that. So that's a really, really good sign, and that's helping me to keep a lot of the fullness on my frame, I would say. So if you look at the video that I just took post-workout, I think you can also tell the pump is still there, and I'm not super flat yet. I'm starting to flatten out a little bit, especially in the morning. Like in the morning check-ins, I can tell that my upper body is losing a little bit of volume, the arms, the shoulders, and everything. But the conditioning is improving, so I think it's a fair trade-off. And this is where it gets difficult on prep to like, because I said last time on my first prep and also on my second prep, we started pushing a little bit too hard, and then I started losing the muscle and the size, and I went on stage and I just wasn't as full as I should have been. And this is like the balancing act now. So now I'm in a place where I just need to make sure that I don't go too far, but I still keep pushing, because like I said, I have 6 weeks left and there's still some fat to lose. It's not like I can just let off the gas now and start refeeding and taking rest days and stop doing cardio, because I will just not be in shape. And that's the balancing act. So what I'm doing now is like, yeah, I feel lethargic. The everyday life is a little bit tougher, and also the sleep is starting to get a little bit less deep and relaxing. I'm not able to take any more naps throughout the day as well, because the body just doesn't get into that carb coma anymore. But the sleep is still okay, and as long as I'm progressing in the gym, like I said, if I can keep up my weights in the gym, I can keep on the same volume that I'm training, like in terms of sets and reps, and I can even progress. Like today in my back day, I still progressed on almost every exercise if I think about it. So that's a crazy feeling, because the way that I feel and then the actual output in the gym is so different. But it's a cool thing. So we're gonna keep rocking like this, and as soon as I notice that now I'm starting to lose some strength, now I'm not having the same connection with the muscle, then we will start thinking about refeeding a little bit and letting some stress off the body, because obviously the body is in a very high state of stress right now. The sleep, the training, the cardio, all the substances and all that stuff is like, it gives the body work to do, and you can just feel that throughout the day. So it's rough, but it has to be done, and I'm not complaining, because this is what I choose to do, and I enjoy it, because the fruits of the labor you get back from this are 1,000 times greater than any suffering that I'm doing. So there's nothing to complain here. I just need to be mindful that I don't push it too far to a point where I start losing muscle. So I'm definitely gonna keep track of that. I'm gonna keep training the way I do. Currently I'm doing upper, lower, and then push-pull legs rotation. So basically I train everything twice a week. I have a leg day and an upper day at the beginning of the week, one rest day, and then a push-pull legs rotation. So that works well for me right now, and that's what I'm gonna keep doing. I do usually 2 sets on every exercise. Pretty heavy weight, more like in the lower rep ranges. I would say somewhere between 6 and 12 is where I usually land. I'm starting to clean up my form a little bit more even now that I'm getting stronger, because I don't want to have any injuries. I kind of pulled my hamstring a little bit 2 weeks ago on barbell rows, and it woke me up a little bit to say slow down, control your form more, still train heavy, but control the form and really make sure that you're working the muscle and not just pulling through the joints and the tendons and everything. So that's what it is. Diet-wise, I think we're at 3,600 calories, something like that. I'm doing mostly, now at the moment I'm just doing oatmeal, potatoes, and cream of rice for my carb sources, and some fruit as well. So I'm not doing any more normal rice. I've switched that all out for potatoes, just for appetite control, because obviously the portions are smaller, I'm getting hungry. So we're switching to potatoes. I'm having a lot of vegetables with that too. yeah, it's helping my digestion as well. It has a lot of potassium, so I like to have that in my diet. And then we're doing some fruit, and then we're still having a little bit of fat from whole eggs. So I'm doing 2 whole eggs per day, and I'm doing some olive oil, 1 tablespoon twice. So the fats are relatively moderate. I would say like 70 grams of fat. The carbs are like 350, 400 probably, I would say. And the protein is 300 grams or something like that. So the protein we shifted up a little bit. So we brought the carbs down a little bit, brought the protein up a little bit, just to help with further conditioning, because obviously protein is very hard for the body to store as fat and to use as an energy source. So whereas if you have carbs that are left over, it'll be stored in body fat. So if you pull down the fat, if you pull down the carbs, your body really starts burning fat. But we make it a priority to have enough carbs, especially around the workout, just to keep up the performance and keep the muscle on the frame. Like I said, number one priority. And that's it. Other than that, 6 weeks out, I'm really pumped for the end result, to be honest. Like, I'm gonna do a little comparison here. So basically at the same time last year versus the same time this year, and just the difference in conditioning and muscle mass that you can see is really big. Even though the weight difference is not that drastic, I think I'm probably 4 kilos heavier or so, 3 to 4 kilos heavier at the same time of prep, but I'm already leaner, and you can tell a huge difference in the size. So I'm really pumped for the end result that we're gonna bring in 6 weeks. So we're locked in. The mental state is complete tunnel vision right now. Update you guys next week. Until then, peace out.